back. This is the Dishing with Donna show. We are having a great wine discussion today. I'm learning a lot already in a short amount of time. I want to say congratulations to Susan Palang. Again, that's Susan Palang of Ackworth. She just won your $50 gift certificate to Parish, Todd.
Thank you, Susan. We look forward to having you down to Parish.
It is delicious. You are going to love that. And guys, don't be jealous. If you were wanting some gift certificates to Taverna Fiorentina, well, you can just go onto my website and go get yourself one. All you got to do is log on to www.dishingwithdonnashow.blogspot.com and click on the 50% off tab right there. And then Taverna Fiorentina is right there at your fingertips. Plus, it's perfect for gifts. And by the way, on a sidebar, you'll also see, if you go to my blog, I wrote an entire entry about when I met and hung out with Paula Dean last week. That is very funny, actually. And there's some pictures of me and Paula up on the blog site, too, from when I pretty much just threw myself into her dressing room without an invitation. So you probably want to go and read that. All right, guys, we're sitting here with Todd Rushing again, Paolo Tondo, and I keep wanting to call you Jessica for some weird reason. Jasmine Reyes of Spain, but yeah, Taverna Fiorentina. So, guys, let's pick back up where we were. We were talking about rosé. Originally, we were talking about just seasonal wines and coming into a lot of white wines right now because of the summer. I am certainly not the expert. So, you guys, I want to learn about what can you pair a rosé with, or what are some foods that you can pair some nice summer white wines to. And Paolo, jump on in because you're definitely the food guy.
I would do like a naked ravioli, which is like a ravioli without pasta, which is spinach, ricotta, Parmesan cheese, with a nice fresh cherry tomato sauce.
I'm so hungry just from that right there.
But do you know why? I mean, that's the thing I think most people miss in terms of food pairings is that Paolo just talked about fresh pasta, but he talked about the things that go in it, and he's got his cheese, and he's got his cherry tomato sauce, and with that, pasta obviously is sort of coats the palate, and then the wonderful sauce, which will have a sweetness to it because it's cherry tomatoes, and then he has the Parmesan cheese. It's got a little saltiness from the Parmesan cheese, and you go, okay, now what's going on in your mouth? And you got all those flavors, and what do you need wine for? Well, wine is supposed to sort of bring out all the flavors in the pasta dish.
It complements.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's supposed to complement it, and you're doing that with the flavors of the wines. But
and
it's
also
a
science.
It is.
It's a science.
And it's a chemistry lesson going on in your mouth, because when you add the wine to it, what the wine is doing is complementing the food, but it's also the acidity is cleansing the palate so you can get another great bite of food. Mm-hmm. And that's what when you get a bad pairing, you're like, I know this dish is great, I know the wine tastes good, but boy, that really just isn't working.
Right, and you can actually taste it in your mouth. They're going to set something else off, and your face does a little scrunch up.
Even going beyond concentrating on pairings, always drink what you like.
Oh, yeah.
Always drink what you like.
Good point.
If you want a glass of white wine with your steak, you can do that.
Yeah, and you can.
It's quite all right.
And Jasmine, you're right, because I think a lot of people, particularly in the restaurant business, come in and they're either somewhat intimidated by a server who says, well, this is what you need to have. And if that's not what you have at home, and if you're most comfortable having, your glass of white wine with your steak, then have your glass of white wine with your steak.
And that might be what the server likes, but it's not what you like, so it's okay.
Right, it is okay. And you have every right to sort of tell the server to go away.
Right.
This is what I want to have, and that's what you should have.
And there's probably some, actually, if you want white wine with a big red hunk of steak, there's probably some white wines that would actually go with it. Jasmine, what could you suggest?
You know what? With a steak that has fat in it, I would do Vermentino, which has very high acid, but still it has some oak in it, so it complements the heaviness of the steak. And to simply put it, light with light, heavy with heavy, medium with medium.
Yep.
What are some heavy whites? What would be considered a heavy white?
An oak
Is
Chardonnay.
there one?
An oak Chardonnay. But there's one that actually, it was funny because you said a steak with fat. I mean, the thing that comes to mind, and this is how versatile this particular wine is, Krug Champagne, to me, would go with barbecue.
Absolutely.
Champagne.
Because it is such a huge wine.
Krug 82.
Yes. I mean, it'll just, you hadn't had a wine that big, and it could be a white wine.
Interesting.
It really is.
Let's do one more while we have time. Tell us another plate, Paolo, and then you guys can say what wine.
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Braised rabbit.
Because you have that at your restaurant,
Yes,
by the
we
way,
do.
at Taverna Fiorentina. Okay, you have rabbit. All right. So then, Jasmine, what would you pair with that?
I am not a Pinot Grigio fan. A lot of people like Pinot Grigio. It's gotten kind of to me it's a little bit boring. I would go with agave. Beautiful mineral. It goes with it's braised in white wine. It's a beautiful pairing.
And what goes with the rabbit?
Well, we usually do polenta, fried polenta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And some spinach.
we were actually talking, but I like a touch of sort of sweetness in this wine, but a Chenin Blanc, very dry, because you have that wonderful braising of the rabbit, which makes it really tender, and then the polenta, which is sort of full, and you get sort of a touch of sweetness from the Chenin Blanc, but a huge acid backbone, meaning just lots of, really going to cleanse the
I
palate.
like how he talks. This is why I have them here to describe it. An acid backbone. I wouldn't have known to say that. Really quick, because we have got to go. Tell me about a red that would be a light red that somebody could enjoy in the summer. What would you recommend?
Pinot Noir.
Pinot does, and actually there are certain Sangioveses, they're Chianti wines that are
Those
light.
are good.
And even certain regions of Spain, Grenache.
Oh, yes, that Garnacha is beautiful, absolutely.
If you want more information, because unfortunately we have got to go, my time clock is out, but you can go to any of the Concentric Restaurant Group and then, ask these questions to their servers, or for sure go to Taverna Fiorentina this weekend even, because Jasmine and Paolo are always there and happy to help. It's very quaint. They can talk to you one-on-one. Jasmine, Paolo, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I appreciate your expertise and to hear about your restaurant.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. Go
Ciao.
check them out. Thank you, Todd, as usual, and I'll
My
be
pleasure.
seeing you again soon. Guys, don't go anywhere. One more thing when we come back. Stay tuned, stay tuned.
Sitting here alone, I'm looking back on where I've roamed and laughing how I swore I'd win and not get burned.